Good morning, part 2. We're still live. So, for those out there wondering who click on this thinking, click it for Star Wars a test, what a stupid title. Are you fucking lazy? No. This is a test to see if the keywords that I used for Diablo are blocked by YouTube, therefore suppressing the controversy. It goes even further and further and further. So this is a test. It's funny too because I was actually at the end of the Diablo discussion. I was getting ready to move into Odd Job and some other things right there, but it was a weird thing. And it says there's only 12 people viewing, but there's more than 12 unique people that have just commented on the video. So yeah, there must be a YouTube error, a YouTube glitch. I don't know what the point is to try to suppress people discussing a video game like that, unless it's bought and paid for. But we're not really too focused on that. So we already got 30 likes. Thank you very much. 30 likes with only 21 views. Holy shit. The world is amazing. I love numbers. So, right before I ended the other stream, I refreshed. It said you had 251 viewers. Weird, huh? I don't like where this is going right now. That's okay. You know what? For those listening to the archived version of this show, you'll barely even notice a difference. You know what? I'm going to leave it in there so you know what's happening to us over here. 92 likes and 22 watching. Huh. Well, just keep hitting those likes up, those thumbs up, folks, so we can know who liked what actually happened. I didn't know The Witcher has gone woke. I don't know much about The Witcher. I guess I should check it out. If somebody can direct me to a video that tells me the lore and shows me what it truly looks like, and then I look into the Henry Cavill series, maybe we can check that out. I saw a video by Sid Alpha earlier that mentioned how Google is getting rid of Google Plus, which has been completely integrated with YouTube. Oh. So maybe that's the case. Thank you, Soar in Sky, for taking a screenshot. You can always email it to us. Kind of weird. But, you know, everything else is going great. Subscriber count's going up and stuff like that. So I got 120 likes and 28 viewers. Huh. Kind of weird. Kind of stupid. Online, there's only one like, says Nico Nazaro. Well, guys, it's funny how a YouTube controversy like this brings us as a community together, stronger, better, harder, faster. I don't know the order of the words, but it's a decent song by Daft Punk. But like I said, them messing with us only makes me more dedicated to making more shit. That's all I can say. So we have a lot of lore on YouTube for The Witcher. I'll have to check that out. Mr. V, thank you very much for super. Jeff, want a guide for Red Dead Redemption? Can send you a link. Sure, I'd like to know how to make money. I have about $60 in that game. I'd like to pay off my bounty and load up on ammunition. There's a couple things I haven't figured out how to do yet. That's why I haven't streamed, because it's kind of embarrassing. It's like I don't know how to unload my items and sell them and make money. It's like, what button? Am I too old at 30 to play a video game that's made for people 17 and up? I don't know. Thank you, Pete. Thank you, everybody, seriously, for coming back for this show. I wasn't going to stop and go off air or anything stupid like that, but I did notice a weird glitch, and I appreciate it. Stephen Morgan, thank you very much. Still here, still supporting you, dude. Did you hear about the restaurant on the moon? Great food, no atmosphere. Oh, my God. That is so... Oh, my God, that joke woke me up and shook me out of my anger stupor. Damn it, Steven. That's all I can say. That's a Marette Aline joke. Election day affected the last stream. It's funny, too, because I said this on the High Council last night. There is a perception about the channel that is all wrong. Like, very wrong. People just don't get us. And all I can say is, well, it's a mistake on their end. If you think we're one thing, we're actually way more in depth than you believe. But, yeah. That is their loss. This is an awesome community to be a part of. Everyone's welcome. Just don't be a shithead about it. Believe me, people make friends, people make videos together. Look at Black Angus Reviews and Jeff the Iron Wolf and the Rookie Critic and all those guys. They do it. They make it happen. They make it work. Andy Goss, thank you very much. Hey, Jeff, what's up? Always do my best to support you. What's peeps don't you all have mobiles? Oh, and they left. LOL weirdos. Long live world-class bullshitters. Well, thank you, Andy Goss. I appreciate your support. I see you here all the time, and I thank you. Yeah, the don't you have mobile phones thing is very... I don't get it. It's like, for some reason, everyone in business thinks they know better to shit on the fans. That's really, we're not in one of these like abused wife relationships where the company can dump on us and we'll just go, thank you, sir. Can I have more? No, this isn't Animal House. Thank you, sir. Might have another. We're going to move to other things. There are 1,000,001 places. They're going to make their money with Overwatch and people are going to play that, but they're going to, be less for it down the road. They're going to lose a lot of their fan base. See, we won't lose our fan base. YouTube will just tell us we have no existing fan base, but, well, we'll still be here. Stitch Snow, thank you very much. Love your content. Been silent for a while. Keep it up. Love listening to the archives at work. Well, thank you very much, Stitch Snow. There's a lot of content in our archives. That's one thing. I know a lot of people say, man, you put out a lot of stuff. It is a lot of stuff, but I want to leave a good digital library of content for people. And when we go on breaks like for Christmas and stuff like that, oh man, I miss World Class Bullshitters. Well, we got tons of content you haven't checked out. We've always kind of had the edge that we do now. We used to be even, sharper with shitty jokes earlier on because we were trying to get noticed. But we have always had the same true message about entertainment and community. So let's see. Stephen Morgan again, thank you very much. Why don't skeletons ever go trick-or-treating? Because they have no body to go with. So we have the master of the bad joke, Stephen Morgan. Ladies and gentlemen, he's here all week. Try the veal, tip your waitresses. Oh, man. Yeah, 41 watching. Woo! So I think we should... You like my Disney Star Wars playlist? Well, thank you very much, Dookie. The only thing I hate about making the playlists are when it sends out 1,000,000 tweets because I feel like, oh, God, I'm bombarding these people. I'm not trying to. So let's get the show back on track. So do me a favor, folks. This is something really dumb we're going to talk about. Press 1 if you know who Oddjob is. I'm going to wait for a second to see what your reactions are. And you may have different interpretations of them. I'm curious. Stitch No, thank you very much. I gave away my dead batteries free of charge. Oh. If you could see me right now, my eyes are rolling into the back of the skull. I can see my brain. It looks great. Bigger than Ryan Johnson's. More functional too. But my God, these jokes. Yeah, there are definitely more than 40 fucking people watching because the tire tread of ones just rolled in. Okay, so we all know Oddjob. Now, Oddjob is, a stocky Korean character. He's the manservant of Goldfinger. He's, an all-around badass. He can crush golf balls with his bare hands. But did you ever think of Oddjob as sexy? I don't think so. When I watch James Bond movies, I think, Jill Masterson, Tilly Masterson, Pussy Galore's all right looking, Dink, best looking one. But I never looked at Oddjob and went, sexy. But apparently, people writing the James Bond comic books do. So if this isn't good for a laugh, I don't know what will be. So this tall and handsome version wouldn't be considered cheating in GoldenEye. Oddjob is now a sexy Korean secret agent rival to 007. The deadly mute Bond villain known as Oddjob has been reinvented for the upcoming series from Dark Horse Comics and Dynamite Entertainment called James Bond 007. As it turns out, he's no longer mute, but is most certainly still deadly, as writer Greg Pak has re-envisioned the character as a rival spy from Korea on par with James Bond himself. In the Goldfinger novel, he's a Korean assassin with a sweet bowler hat who's the most physically dangerous opponent Bond has ever faced. That's what I wanted to keep, Pak told IGN on how he went about reconceptualizing the fan-favorite bad guy. What I wanted to add was passion and heart and humor and sex appeal and cockiness and maybe even a touch of pathos. He's Bond's greatest rival, both physically and on a subtle level, emotionally. He challenges everything Bond thinks about, the right way to move through the world, and vice versa. This new Oddjob certainly exudes sex appeal with stylish threads and handsome features, which can be owned to character designer Ibrahim Mustafa and the series artist Mark Lamming. Bond is a sex symbol in his own right, and was of the utmost importance to Pack that Oddjob be pretty hot and that he have charm to burn, so we get invested in him and feel for his story in our hearts and guts. No. It's really funny how modern writers can take literally anything that I love and turn it into shit. So Oddjob was played here by Harold Sakata, a big, thick, I believe he's Japanese. No, he's Hawaiian, right? My point is, he is a quiet Korean man who can kick James Bond's ass. And it takes James Bond's brain power to beat Oddjob. If you don't know how Oddjob is defeated, Bond is fighting Oddjob in Fort Knox. There's an electrified fence. Oddjob throws the hat. It cuts a wire. Bond eventually gets Oddjob's hat. He tricks Oddjob into thinking he's going to throw the hat at him. He intentionally misses, throws it into the fence. Oddjob goes to grab the hat. Bond slides across the floor with the live wire, electrocutes Oddjob. He done. He dead. He gone. Awesome death. Now they're trying to make him this sex symbol. This to me is very much like a almost like a Mary Sue thing. Not in terms of him being completely capable. It's because the writer's trying to imprint himself upon Oddjob, because was Greg Pak Korean himself. There's nothing wrong with having attractive Asian characters. Believe me, people watch anime for that shit. But Oddjob's an established character, and Dynamite's James Bond books have been less than excellent. I picked up their Casino Royale adaptation, but I've decided to stop buying the single issues after, Eidolon? I read the first 10, and they were good enough, but they weren't great. The people that get on these titles just don't get 007. I'm going to toot my own horn for a minute and say I should write a James Bond comic. I should draw the James Bond comic. I get the character. There's a certain style to Bond that is lost on these people. And you can take out the Eon Danjak stuff, which they don't have the license for. That's the messed up part. They're doing James Bond comics based off the novel adaptation, the Fleming Bond. They're taking away a lot of the elements from the movie. And I think it would be a lot smarter to put the money into getting the license, because if you could get a Sean Connery James Bond comic book out there, set in the 60s, fun action sexiness, people would really buy into it. And it doesn't go and contradict the films. You could have 1,000,001 Russian operatives and all kinds of crazy shit, but they have gone this path because it's the cheapest path. And, well, I don't like it. I don't really think of Oddjob as this sexy character. He's supposed to be deadly and scary. Or he's in the NyQuil commercial, Vicks VapoRub commercial, where he karate chops a fence or something. Andy Goss, thank you very much for your super chat. Where can I watch your last stream of Red Dead Redemption 2? I believe if you follow the link on Twitter, it's still there. I might do another one soon. If we can get a big audience, more than 12 people, I'd love to do that. It's a lot of fun. No, Harold Sakata was not related to The Rock. The Rock was related to, if you go watch You Only Live Twice, there's a big, the guy that James Bond takes back to the house, or the guy from the house takes James Bond back to Osada Chemicals, and Bond tries to fight him in this room with a couch and all this shit. That's The Rock's grandpa. So if you ever want to see the Rock connection, he was in You Only Live Twice. Midnight Cherry TV, thank you very much. Oddjob would be a great addition to Mystery Men. Yeah, you have the Spleen, the Shoveler, the Waffler, Golden Crispy, Bad Guys Are History, with his truth syrup. I'm so glad that you keep the Mystery Men love rolling strong, because I love that movie. The opening's a little weird with that weird music that plays at the old people's home, and it sucks that movie flopped too. If Mystery Men would have come out, I don't know, 8 years later, it may have been more of a success. But it was pre-Spider-Man. It was it was pre-X-Men. It was post Batman and Robin, so superhero movies were kind of eh. But Blade and Spawn had come out, and they weren't flops. Alpha Terranima, thank you very much. I get your name right away. Instead of being too short to shoot, he's too sexy to shoot. Oh, he's too sexy for this bullet. No. You can, somebody sexy can catch a bullet just as easily as somebody not so sexy. This is just a bizarre switch for me. That's all I can say. It's such a weird twist. I don't like it. What a twist. I'm very unhappy. Oh, God, you're talking about random task? Why is it okay to sexualize men, but it's wrong to sexualize women? Double standards. People are stupid. I hate the world sometimes. It's funny. They think they're being so progressive. We're making him a sexy Korean. You're not making Oddjob. You're hiding behind the name. Just call him, I don't know, Greg Pak, Agent 00 nothing. What have they done to Oddjob? They ruined him, Trent. They ruined him. Yeah, I don't know, Fernando. They should re-edit, or they shouldn't edit these existing characters. They should make their own new characters, but that's just not going to happen. Stephen Morgan, thank you very much. What is James Bond's favorite time of year? Bonfire night. I'll stop now. I thank you again, but my head is just nodding back and forth. No, wait a minute, Stephen. No. Oh my God, these jokes. If I had a heart, it would be hurting right now, aching from all of this. Who does number 2 work for? You tell that turd boss. I'm sorry to hear Tom Arnold's kind of a dick, especially what he said to Dean Cain. But I loved his line in Austin Powers, the first one. I've told you guys this story when he goes, "Hey, partner, have a good one." And Austin Powers goes, "Okay." That's my favorite part of that whole movie. It's so dumb. But he's like, "Man, that sounds nasty. How about a courtesy flush over here?" Observer Dude, welcome back. Thank you. Are they making Bond a woman or a black man or a black transgender bisexual woman? No, they are not. They are making Oddjob a super sexy Korean agent with longish hair who speaks. Thank God Bond is still a straight white guy with dark hair and bluish eyes and wears a suit, is in shape. I don't want James Bond. Don't subvert our expectations. Don't Johnson up the James Bond franchise. It's good and it's pure. And I have a change of heart. I honestly think that behind the scenes, they know that this political stuff, this identity politics and this, that, and the other, this shit is slowly going to fade away from entertainment. And they're basically holding off on James Bond movies to not necessarily strictly avoid this stuff, but thankfully the timing will work out and they won't basically give in to this garbage. Maybe Barbara Broccoli's a little smarter than she lets on. Then again, all she does is James Bond stuff. So let's just hope they don't fuck with James Bond. Old Nose Muff knows what's up. Speaking of random tasks, the latest Bond movie ripped off Austin Powers with the brothers thing. It did. I liked Spectre up until that point. I loved it up until that point. I know this sounds like a basic thing to say, but I was waiting for the Bond gun barrel to return. I was excited. I was pumped. You know, you sit in the theater, you're waiting, you see the MGM, the Sony, you hear the Bond theme just kind of slightly when it goes, duh, and then the fucking gun barrel appears, and I cheered. I had just come back from Las Vegas. I was worn out and tired, but I had to see James Bond that night. And I did, and I liked it. I just didn't like the Blofeld brothers thing. I think the brothers thing stems from the Star Wars Halloween conundrum where people run out of shit to do, so they just make them related, and that's adding false depth. It's like an unfinished basement. It's there. Some people like it, but it's not as good as some complete idea. And Blofeld and Bond being brothers doesn't work. Go back and watch some of the classic Bond movies. Go watch On Her Majesty's Secret Service. You see the best Blofeld, how he's this international criminal. He's trying to lay claim to, I think wants to be a count or something, or is it a duke? And he's going to poison the world. There's a great plot. Bond fights him to the death. They're not brothers. They're different nationalities. They're different, way different ages. I know they're supposed to be like stepbrothers, but that to add that level of connection doesn't add depth. Because all these things do, be them Marvel, DC, James Bond, Star Wars, it shrinks the universe that everything has to be related. In real life, shit just happens. You know, in Spider-Man, Steve Ditko, the rumor, the myth, the legend is that Steve Ditko left Spider-Man because Stan Lee wanted Norman Osborn to be the Green Goblin. Steve Ditko wanted to be some random guy that nobody knows because that's how life is. At first, I was on the Stan Lee train because it ushers in the John Romita era, which is my favorite era of Spider-Man. But the older I get, the more I realize that Ditko had it right. Sometimes not being connected, not being related is much, much better than actually having this massive interconnected web of characters. So Bond and Blofeld as brothers just pissed me off. Folks, if you're new right now, can you do me a favor and give us a thumbs up, because the YouTube view count is shit in the bed, and it would really help us out. It would help me out personally if you could help us hit that thumbs up button. I'd appreciate it. So let's see. It won't make Bond a woman because they know it will be a huge flop. It will also be unappealing, more unappealing than that Ghostbusters remake. You know what? I don't know if I have the screenshot, but I have a really amazing quote. Give me a second. It's from the guy who directed Tomorrow Never Dies. Was it Roger Spottiswoode? Basically, give me just a moment. That is not it. Definitely not it. Okay, hold on. Let's see. No, that's from Star Wars. Trust me, you're going to want to hear this because it talks about gender and James Bond and knowing the character. And God damn it, where'd it go? Because I'll just try to paraphrase it in a minute if I don't find exactly what I'm looking for. Oh, no, that's X-Men. My phone gallery is really bizarre, and not like I gotta hide it from my family thing. It's just like there's a random recipe and a picture of Mundane Matt and some Marvel movies and my insurance card and all this other crap. So it's looking like I'm not going to be able to find the quote, but if you'll indulge me for just a moment, here's what I wanted to say. So he either directed Tomorrow Never Dies or The World Is Not Enough. And he basically said that they have tried everything to get women into James Bond, and they've reached the point where they have the maximum amount of women that will watch Bond, and it doesn't make sense to try to make James Bond progressive and different because you have that audience, a big audience of people who will go see it, and once you cross that line, you're not Bond anymore. They tried to do that with Electric King in 1999, so it had to be Roger Spottis, right? No, Michael Apted. Whoever directed The World's Not Enough, I think it's Michael Apted, because Lee Tamahori directed Die Another Day, and that's a shit movie. But they tried to do these things. They tried to make M more prominent. They tried to do this. People really aren't receptive to making Bond culturally sensitive. It's a thing. It is what it is. And my mom loves James Bond movies. My grandma loves James Bond movies. They're the epitome of what a strong woman is. Not a whammon, not this shit where you bitch online all day and don't do anything. My grandma raised 7 kids. My grandpa was a douche. He was off working. Admittedly, he wasn't abandoning his family, but he had a job where he traveled. She did all that stuff herself. My mom did all of her stuff herself. I don't look at the people on the internet because you're oppressed as real problems. Excuse me. I just don't give a shit. Go out in the real world and have some real problems. But a lot of the women that I know like Bond movies the way they are. I've never met someone that goes, James Bond needs to be, more female friendly, this, that, the other. Look, the Bond formula is this. Men want to be like him. Women want to be with him. If you follow that formula, you got a winning James Bond film. I don't like when you try to change things to subvert our expectations, to try to make it something that it is not. Jeff, you don't need to get women into James Bond. He gets into his own. Yeah, I know. I'm glad everyone agrees, though, with, I think it was Michael Apted's stance on this. You've reached that point. They've tried to do the female thing, and it's fine. You don't need to avoid the female audience. I'm not advocating that, but I am saying stay true to the people that buy your shit, that watch your shit, because after you don't do that, you're going to hurt yourself beyond belief, and that ain't fiction. It's all fact. My favorite 007 film, I want to say GoldenEye, so I will, but I do also love Honor Majesty's Secret Service, and I also love From Russia with Love. Those are my top 3 films. So, don't Johnson 007. You damn right you don't want to Johnson 007. You don't want to mess up something that is good and that has worked for decades. I'm not tired of James Bond. I don't think a lot of people are either. It comes out so infrequently that it's nice and it's like when your mom makes your favorite meal. She doesn't make it all the time, so when you get it and she makes it the same way, as long as it's as good as you remember, you're going to enjoy it and be comforted by it. John Woodhouse, thank you very much. Cool last name. If writers want to force progressiveness, is it too much to ask that writer write their own series instead of dumping it into a franchise we all know? John, it's not too much to ask, but it's too much for them to comprehend because these writers aren't that smart. I'm not here to be a dick to people that I disagree with, but you would think that you could create a brand new agent. It's funny, all these Bond movies created new characters each time. No one talks about David Yip's character from The View to a Kill. Nobody talks about the guy from there have been plenty of Asian agents. There have been plenty of black agents. There have been all kinds of people from different walks of life, different colors in these Bond flicks. Pull from them or do what they do in these movies and make new ones. Felix is white. In the book, he's white in the movie. Well, he didn't have a hook hand. Well, he did at the end of License to Kill, and they wrote him out. The writers nowadays, they're not focused on telling a story. They're focused on sending a message. I don't know if they're indoctrinated in college or what it is, but I went to college. I took many writing courses. I've had teachers tell me, oh, this is your calling. Well, I've acted upon it to a degree with Stealing Solo and this channel, but I focus solely on a good story. There really is no morality or progressive message at all to Stealing Solo. It's an entertainment product. It exists. It is a parody, and parody is meant to make fun, use things from the world to make fun of the situation. It's deep in that way, but it's not meant to make you. It's not an anti-consumer message. It's not satire about the bigger picture. There's a lot going on, but at the end of the day, it just exists to entertain you. And I feel like that's what a lot of these things need to do, is exist to entertain us. And yes, I said anus on the show finally. So I've seen I am become Deaf Destroy World. Yeah, I use all the acronyms for the James Bond movies too. Dr. No is the only one I spell. Well, I'll spell out GoldenEye sometimes, but Dr. No is usually that is the one I always write out. Yes, Holdo's Muff, no message. Do not worry at all. How would you feel if Bond was cast as a particularly unattractive man? See, I don't really care how if he looks like he's supposed to look. Here you go. Was it Gemini that said that? I think Daniel Craig's ugly as shit. There we go. It's already happened. I don't really go to the Bond movies for his looks. I go for the story and the action and the bombastic score. There's so many elements that gets me into those theaters, and that captivated me as a child. I'm very happy to say I've been a Bond fan for 26 of my 30 years. So, well, no, not 26. That's a little much. James Bond Jr., let's say 22. Since I was 8, I've been watching Bond movies proper, and they've been good. I've had a great time growing up with these movies, and going back and watching the old ones was always an exciting adventure for me, because it's weird. When I first saw Halloween, it was like my first experience watching a 70s film, and it was horror, so it was like really kind of scary, and I didn't know the time setting. It was all kind of foreign to me. I didn't understand a lot of what was going on in terms of like the way shit was set up and the way people acted and looked. Bond took me back to a different setting, but it was still a setting that I was familiar with and I liked, and I was comfortable. And Bond movies, there have been bad ones like Moonraker, but I have been overall entertained by all of them. I would love if Henry Cavill played Bond. That is my choice. Henry Cavill, no one else. Thankfully, it's not going to be Idris Elba because he doesn't want to do it. And once you make Black Bond, then you make Asian Bond, then you have not made James Bond. You've kind of ruined it. Oscar Isaac ain't James Bond. I don't really like him as an actor. I'll acknowledge that he's good in other stuff outside of the stuff I've seen because people say it. But Poe Dameron and Apocalypse. Yes, Random Nerd, you're preaching to the choir. Sure. Shout out to Diamond Bolt, the YouTuber. Check him out. Jacob Kennedy's been trying to help promote that channel. We're always about helping promote other channels. Daniel Craig is like James Bond for the Jason Bourne crowd. Yeah, it really is. And when you slowly get away from that, Bond movies have always... Here's the thing. In the 60s, they were the tastemakers. They set up the rules. They made the big plays. They were what people aspired to be like. In the 70s, they tried to become something else. They were blaxploitation. They were outer space. They were Lawrence of Arabia. They lost their identity. In the 80s, Bond attempted to get some of that identity back, but it didn't work because it was too dated at that point. You get to A View to a Kill. It's a little sexier, a little fun. I like it. Not a great movie, but I enjoy it. Then you get to the Dalton era, and you were right on the cusp, I thought, with The Living Daylights. But then you go to License to Kill, and again, you're a little late. You're doing a cocaine cowboy story after, the cocaine cowboy era had ended. Miami Vice was the epitome of that. Scarface, early 80s, 83 to 86 or 7, you really should have put that movie out, but you were too late for that. Then you took a 6-year break. GoldenEye was perfect. It came out with the whole... It's a new war, a new world. The Cold War had ended. There were many other elements and factors to GoldenEye's success. And I'm very glad that it was what it was, because I think it's a great movie, great trailer, greatest movie trailer of all time, great video game, just a great experience overall. And then you get to the next couple Brosnan flicks, and Tomorrow Never Dies was ahead of its time. Some people go, that's not that good of a Bond movie. Watch it today with Mark Zuckerberg in mind and see that we actually have real-life Elliot Carvers, and Google is all these things. It's bizarre how on the nose that movie truly was. So make sure you guys watch that movie with that lens. World Is Not Enough, that's forgettable. Nothing special. And Die Another Day is offensively bad. But when we get to the Craig era, it is meant to be Jason Bourne. Casino Royale and Quantum of Solace are Jason Bourne's 4 and 5, or 5 and 6, or 6 and 7, whatever the numbers would be for appropriately numbering the franchise. They lost their identity. They kind of brought that back with Skyfall, and Spectre really was a Bond movie because there's a lot of humor in these movies, but they just didn't hit every point right. Cinevareth 653, thank you very much. The passion you have for Bond reminds me of my passion for Godzilla. Well, thank you, Cinevareth 653. I do have a passion for Bond. It's just something I've spent a lot of time watching. It's funny, for as much as I talk about Star Wars, concurrently I was into James Bond at the same time. For, what year? Let's see, 1997. I was a big Bond fan, big Star Wars fan too, but those things ran neck and neck. The only difference between my interest in either Bond or Star Wars is I could get Star Wars merchandise. I could bring home Luke Skywalker, the figure. I could have the Millennium Falcon. I could have a Han Solo blaster. Bond, you could get the game and maybe a really shitty Action Man doll or something, which were hard to find because Toys R Us didn't have a lot of that stuff. The Bond stuff wasn't that popular. Had you been able to pick up Bond toys like you could in the 60s, I think my Star Wars love would have been a little different because I was able to consume more Star Wars. And it's a bizarre thing to say, but you could get everything you wanted. If you wanted to have a little Han Solo to fight Darth Vader, and this time you do it this way, you could do that with Star Wars. Nothing with Bond. You could play GoldenEye. It was predetermined. You could play with your friends. And that was about all there is. It's the same way with Bond now. You can get a couple high-end collectibles and you get the Blu-ray set, but you can go into a store, you could buy more Star Wars stuff, but you can go into a Star Wars store or a store and get a lot of Star Wars stuff, comparatively speaking. So my passion would be even greater had I know that sounds really vapid, but if I could consume more Bond stuff. Like, that's why, if you guys, well, you don't know me personally, but anytime I go to a store, if there's anything with James Bond on it, I buy it. I bought a record from Russia with Love. The guy's like, it's got a scratch. It might not work. I said, I just want it because it's James Bond. So that's how I operate. I'm like that with Beverly Hills Cop and Miami Vice as well. I just got to own all the pieces of stuff. But Cinever 653, I'd like to do a Godzilla movie soonish. I don't know when, but I'd like to do that. I want to get a Star Trek movie in, just some good geek out stuff that gets people really excited, because I like Godzilla a lot. Obviously not to the level you do, because you're equating your love of Zilla to my love of James Bond, but I do enjoy the flicks, and I want to learn some stuff about stuff I like. That's always the exciting part for me. Who would win in a fight between Bond and Batman? One thing that no one ever takes into account is Batman's mouth is exposed. James Bond could shoot him in the mouth and it's over in a second. But Batman does have a suit of armor on. If it was Batman in a cloth suit, it could be an even fight, because they're equally smart. Let's see who else we had. Each will play another double agent. That'd be fine. Did I have James Bond Jr. toys? I had all of them. Super Smash Brothers candidates. I had every James Bond Jr. toy. I still have. The funny thing is, I actually have a whole set unopened. What happened was, my 16th birthday, I went to a store called the Earth Toy Mall, and they had them all for $1. And my mom's like, "Oh, I'll buy them all for you." And they had an extra James Bond Jr. in his basic gear. So that is on my shelf. He kind of fell over. He's laying on top of a vintage Han Solo right now. But I had them all, and both video games, Nintendo and Super Nintendo. I could never beat the Nintendo one. I beat the Super Nintendo one. Mr. V, I'll check my email over the after the show. Let's see. Batman beat up Superman, so I think he could take Bond. Yeah, but Bond doesn't have any weakness to kryptonite. Maybe he offers him a bottle of vodka. He can't scream out his mother's name, though. Does Bond weigh a little more than 108? Laden Swallow, I've never played that game at all. I heard about it. I remember I was in high school. I used to get Electronic Gaming Monthly, and I would see the promos for that game, but I never played it. So that would have been, what, 05 when that came out? 06, early Xbox 360? What was I playing? I was still playing San Andreas, and then once I got the Xbox 360, I was wrestling Mark hardcore. I bet Oddjob couldn't happen today because somehow be considered racist. You know, if you look back with the SJW lens on Goldfinger on Oddjob, the only line they could conceive to be anything would be Korea, or golf is not yet the national game of Korea. They don't actually use any pejorative terms to describe Oddjob once. Oh, he doesn't talk. They don't make any racial stereotypes about Oddjob. So I don't get why people would be so offended or try to. Basically, I look at somebody. It'd be like if I had to write a comic book about The Rock and I had to imprint my insecurities on him as a character. That just doesn't work. Just because you somewhat resemble a fictional character doesn't mean they're a representation of you. You can identify with anybody of any color. Rock, Axel Foley, John McClane, Hulk Hogan, Batman, the Power Rangers, Superman, Wonder Woman, anything. You can identify with those. And you don't have to look or be the same gender or belief system or anything like that. There's something that you identify with internally, and you can like the character. Doesn't have to look like you. I think that is the most basic understanding of how a character, how a writer exists. That's the kind of stuff that really pisses me off, when it's based solely on looks. But then when the opposite happens, these people claim racism. When you say, well, Mary Jane's white with red hair. When has it ever said that? Literally every panel that's ever been drawn of Mary Jane Watson is a white woman with red hair. It's a very bizarre double standard that these new writers have. I won't even say new progressive writers. It's just all writers that write geek culture stuff. You have to virtue signal to get your job. Let's see. Bond games could be revived in VR. I'd love to play as Bond. Dude, Grand Moff Tarkin, I would pay whatever. If they've released GoldenEye in VR, I would pay whatever it costs to buy it and play it in the best format ever. Like, if I had to buy a really expensive computer to play GoldenEye in VR, I fucking would. It's my favorite video game. I'd play for 12 hours a day. All right, the guy's behind the crate. There's the armor. We'll go back here for the key card. I know everything. I accidentally explained bronies. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, so man, our show falling apart with the Diablo thing really derailed it, but it didn't derail my desire and anyone out there watching the show. I don't know exactly what's going on with the view count, but I do know that the loyal Good Morning Pop Culture fans are here. By the way, somebody mentioned earlier about it being archived. Yes, I had to take my grandma out yesterday, so I didn't get to archive yesterday's episode, but it will go up on Podbean today with this one that you're currently listening to. They will be archived together, and once that channel becomes monetized, then we move the show to there. But the way YouTube is working, our view counts are down, and I'm not bitching. I'm making the videos. I'm putting in more time because quality rises. The cream rises to the top. Oh yeah! But I can't cut out the channel's funding completely. So that is why it will remain here until we can become fully monetized. Holdo's Muff, thank you very much. I would love to read you some Paula Deen recipes, y'all. You can't taste the racism in her food, just the bacon grease and your heart stopping. I don't know, Testify, what happened last night with the Young Turks. The most political I've ever been was yesterday's show where I talked about Captain Marvel and Rock the Vote. I don't have the thing is, I really don't have a political lean about a lot of stuff. I don't really cause problems for those people, and I don't think this channel is a really divisive politically thing. When they make Star Wars overtly political, then it becomes whatever side is the antithesis of Star Wars. I'm about the purity of Star Wars, and it's not about keeping people out or gatekeeping. It's anybody can love Star Wars, but you got to love it for what it is, because once you change it, it's not Star Wars anymore. Go make that thing for those other normie people. So I don't know if that's the case. Oh, Alec Munoz, what happened last time is the stream numbers dropped. There's a glitch in YouTube because if you look, the thumbs up, there are tons more thumbs up than people watching, and a lot of people are here. So YouTube is just messing with us in terms of view count and stuff like that. Maybe it'll get rectified. Like I said, our subscriber count's going up. People are kicking ass with the super chats, helping the channel. So I don't consider us in any danger. It must be a YouTube issue, kind of like when YouTube went down that one night. Remember during the High Council? And hopefully it's now back. Love of Knowledge, thank you very much. How was Grandma yesterday? Everything set for Christmas? Well, Love of Knowledge, thank you for asking. Yes, Grandma was great. I took her to O'Charlie's. We ate. It was nice. It was funny. Even at 94, and I'm 30 now, my grandma still tries to take me out to eat. And I thought, Grandma, I got this channel. It's successful. Let me take you out. So she was really happy that I paid for lunch, but at the same time bothered because she's so used to taking me out. It's funny. My mom and grandma think of me as like a little boy. That's fine. They love me. I'm fine with that. They're the only people that call me Jeffrey that I allow. But no, it was great. Took her home with an extra bowl of soup. We figured out everything that's got to be taken care of for Christmas. And basically what happened is my grandma, it always sounds like she has a cold, but she can't really talk as well as she used to. She doesn't have cancer or anything like that. She's beat cancer 4 times, which is awesome. But her voice always sounds like it's real gravelly, and it just bothered her to talk. So I told her, I'll make your phone calls. I'll take care of that. So that is basically all we did. I got a couple lists of things that everybody needs to bring to Christmas, and it's all set. I mean, it's November 7th, and I'm ready. That's why I was thinking about watching these Christmas movies, because I went Christmas shopping with her yesterday. And it's funny, as a kid, you think Christmas shopping is this magical, mythical thing. But in reality, it's like shopping any other time of the year. It's just more people to wait in line with. That's all it is. And sometimes better deals. Like I went to Best Buy last night, and I was like, man, they got all their TVs lined up. And I thought, man, I really, really, really want to buy a new TV. And then I came home and I thought, I have a brand new one still in the fucking box. What am I doing? Oh, Testify HD. I get it. I didn't think you were saying me. I was just saying in general, if they're trying to target political content right now, I don't think we actually crossed any line. Like Jeremy said, I'd like to know where this line is so we can just, keep the show rolling. But a lot of people are, curious to what's going on. You love hearing about my family. Well, my family, they're not bad people. They're all good, genuine people. No criminals, no any kind of abuse or anything like that. It's In many ways, it'd be the most boring family to talk about, but there's also all kinds of cool, crazy stories I can tell too. They're just, I'm lucky in that regard. There's no, bad parents or anything like that. It's funny too. My one cousin that in high school, they were always like, he's not getting good grades or this or that. He may have not grown up to be the most successful one, but he's probably the nicest, most genuine guy. I mean, I'm nice and genuine. Everybody's nice, but my cousin like goes out of his way to go to people's houses and do stuff. I'm admittedly busy, but my one cousin is just like above and beyond nice. American Trent 007, thank you very much. Any Christmas stream? I'm in. Favorite holiday? Well, Trent, or Chet as we now call you. Sure, man. I think you clearly want to be involved for Christmas vacation, so I'm gonna make sure that you I'll give you a date. It's early November. We're in the first week of November. Shit. It hasn't even been a full solid weekend this month yet, and everyone's like, Christmas, Christmas, Christmas. God, it's gonna be the best Christmas ever. We're gonna make that happen. Let's see. Yeah, Grand Moff Tarkin. I know that's the truth. But Jeremy and I have had a lot of growth this year. We work really hard at this. Ethan too, but Ethan wasn't on the show, so that's why I didn't include him in the sense. But we're all working really hard. And the last thing we want to do is have our work for naught. Thankfully we have a really strong community that follows us on other platforms, but we just want to know what's up. Oh, Superfan Adam Shawhan, you are patriotic. Now, if it's cool with you, I'm going to share that on World Class Bullshitters because our friend Superfan Adam Shawhan is a patron, and you get a t-shirt at the highest level, and he wore that out yesterday, and I thought it was damn cool that he went out of his way to support World Class Bullshitters all over his town. So, folks, if you ever buy our shirt and you do stuff like that, you will get a special mention and maybe a little more. Oh, God, Christmas radio. No, thank you. No, thank you. So, let's see. I have this image in front of you. This is a belt buckle, so no, we're not going crotching. I don't know why they keep making crappy superheroes to make movies out, because they keep rebooting the good superheroes. Now, remember, good is a subjective term, but I feel that if done right, properly, a Punisher franchise could go on forever. Make it John Bernthal, make it anybody you want. I really think it should have been Thomas Jane. But if you do a constant continuation of Frank Castle's delve into the underworld, you could really have an endless superhero franchise. It wouldn't be the number one at the box office, but it'd have to be bloody and gory and just crazier each time. And then you can have your cleaner ones. Some are Punisher Max. They're all R-rated films, but some he goes a little crazier than others. But you could have him deal with the mob, Mexican cartels, international stuff. The Punisher could have been this evergreen property that, they didn't do. So they did Spider-Man. The thing is, they did Spider-Man right the first time, but they think everybody hates the Sam Raimi Maguire movies because the third one became a meme online. It's just the third one. The second one is regarded as one of the best superhero movies ever made. It's like The Dark Knight. It's like Avengers, first Iron Man. It's just in that it holds a spot, and it holds up incredibly well. I'd rather watch Spider-Man 2 over any Marvel movie. Sorry. But they keep mining. They're going for new characters constantly. And, we're talking about Captain Marvel again. Yes, Captain Marvel does get rebooted 3 times a year, but we're talking about Shazam Captain Marvel, who is not anyone's favorite, I don't think. But Zachary Levi, they're having reshoots of the movie, so I'm waiting for the narrative to pop up. Oh, reshoot, Suicide Squad, BVS, Justice League. It's gonna flop. It's gonna flop. It's gonna flop. I find it interesting that the media will go out of its way to derail DC flicks, but not Marvel flicks. Now, I like the Marvel flicks more than I like the DC flicks, but I think DC deserves the same respect in reporting that Marvel does, because Justice League didn't suck. We have a thread over on our Facebook group. Post an unpopular opinion. Don't argue, just post it. And mine was, I don't think Justice League is that bad of a movie. Is it great? No, but it's enjoyable. It's the perfect movie to put on while you're making dinner on a Saturday before you go out and you don't think about it. Infinity War is a lot heavier. You think about it, you just go, damn, that was great. Justice League is stupid fun. Captain Marvel, Shazam, the proper Captain Marvel, looks good, but it gets a little preachy. Trencher 1375, thank you very much. They can't make the Punisher because they don't want to show criminal organizations as bad guys or victims. Trencher, I get that's probably the real reason, but they need to. There needs to be a very clear black and white dichotomy, good versus evil. Make the Punisher like a Dirty Harry type of thing, just straight up, no nonsense. Every once in a while, he'll show some mercy or some sympathy. It could be really great is if, now I don't say they want to stop what they're doing, but a Rockstar game that's like a Punisher game, like Grand Theft Auto, but you're the Punisher type of thing with a big immersive city, and what you do has ramifications and you got to hide out. That could be a lot of fun. Not going to happen, but I'd like that. But you have to show, the reason these movies don't resonate with people is because they're trying to be so sensitive to certain issues and topics. Look, good and good, bad is bad. Just make it straight up. No more, or oh my God, this crime syndicate's offended. So what? It's a fictional story. Get over it. We're becoming a parody of ourselves in terms of society. But I would love to see, that opening line, that opening narration in The Big Lebowski about, the man we need and stuff like that. And they're talking about the dude. We need a Dirty Harry, a Punisher, something. It doesn't need to be about violence, but it needs to be about a character with a strong backbone, conviction that stands up for what they believe in. Male or female, if you do it right with a woman and you don't make it a preachy mess, just straight up good versus evil type of thing and make it believable. Now, I'm not saying she's a good actress, but somebody like a Gina Carano, I buy into her in these action movies, not because of she's not talented as shit, but because she looks the part, and I believe a woman like her could have been in the military, an ex-fighter, this, that, and the other. Same with a Ronda Rousey, but now she's in wrestling, so I look at her in a different lens. But you got to have this believability with these characters, and you got to just have get a property that comes out. Like John Wick really is it right now. John Wick is that. And Keanu Reeves does his own thing in real life. He's a good guy. But John Wick, the character, I know we talk about it right now on the show a lot, but it is the strongest male movie character out there. He's not about anything but his mission, conviction, goals, achievements, survival. And it's nice to be able to watch something and shut your brain off. No politics, just straight up, he's got to kill a man, he's got to kill a woman, he's got to kill this. He just does what he's got to do. It's a great, great franchise. I fucking love the first two John Wick movies. I can't wait for the third. I mean, if I wanted to pull the trigger for Christmas, I might get myself a John Wick Hot Toys, but I'm leaning towards the Daredevil season 2 Daredevil from Hot Toys instead. I'm going to get myself something like that. My point is, these characters need strong conviction and backbone. It doesn't need to be about morality. It doesn't need to be about right or left. It just should be a strong character that isn't wishy-washy. They believe in what they believe in. If you believe in it, you get behind that character. You get excited for their existence. That is the type of shit that I, as a fan, crave. I can get behind the John Wick and I go out and I support it and I get excited. I can't get behind Bond because he's kind of I can't get behind Spider-Man because he's a fucking joke. None of these characters have what I think they need. They lack conviction. So, buy John Wick, join me. Damn it, Trent, stop. Random Nerd, they do have John Wick 6-inch figures. They have an American one, which is about $30, lesser quality. And if you have $100 to spend, get yourself the nice Mafex Japanese one, much more realistic, really great sculpt and detail. And if you're a super fan, if you're the Adam Shawhan of John Wick, go for the Hot Toys. It looks real. So it looks like the view count is starting to climb. Like maybe there was a hiccup in reporting. Maybe this is who are truly watching this morning. Cool. Welcome into the show if you're new. I appreciate that you're here. 4K is a ripoff of new movies only shot in 2K. Jacob, it's funny you bring that up. Last night I was at Best Buy looking at the Avengers box, the new Steelbook, and I was like, these graphics were rendered in 2K. How can they look good in 4K? I will talk about Aquaman because you asked. I'm excited enough to watch it. I love Amber Heard. Very stupid reason, but she's so pretty. But Jason Momoa is cool. I thought the Conan the Barbarian reboot was okay. 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. It exists. I don't hate it, but it ain't Schwarzenegger. But then again, Conan the Conqueror or whatever, the second one, there's Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer. I didn't think the second one's that good. The first one's cool. The second one, not so much. There's a Mezco version. Oh, Jesus. Maybe I'll do the Mezco. I love John Wick. So let me talk about, the only reason I brought up this Shazam thing is because I'm all about equality on this show. If I rip on Captain Marvel from Marvel talking about politics, well, then I'm going to rip on Captain Marvel from DC talking about politics, because Zach Levy says, back in the saddle again, we're about to make additional photography look real pretty. Also, now that I have your attention, if you're in the United States of America and you care about the direction our country is heading / about the head and how it affects all of us, I encourage you to educate yourselves on the matters and candidates at hand, and then vote accordingly to your convictions. Trust that your vote does in fact mean something, and our collective voices mean everything. Hashtag we the people. Now, this was a much more palatable message from a superhero, a fake superhero. But I just thought this was really awkward. It's like, hey, we're reshooting the movie because whatever. Oh, yeah, go out and vote. That is what I was thinking. Like that. It was bothering me. But I just thought, because I brought it up for Captain Marvel, I had to bring it up for Shazam Captain Marvel, just to be fair, in all fairness and equality here on the channel. It's funny how the numbers are going up and people are getting excited. Like, yay, the view count's going up. Well, today I learned a lesson. Don't let the view count dropping to nothing derail you, because there are people that are still here. Love Arnold's Conan. I read the comics that were using the novel story. Now that's just another Arnie movie. I like the John Buscema drawn Conan stuff, not for the story, but for the art. There's something about John Buscema's work that just makes me, captivates me, transfixes me. Big John Buscema fan. Love that. Amber Heard as Red Sonja. I'll watch it. I will watch it. Bridget Nielsen is the best Red Sonja, because I believe she's the only Red Sonja. But Amber Heard would be awesome. Oh, so Mutter Meatseek says, sometimes streams don't show up in my feed. For some reason, the stream keeps cutting off too. Huh. I don't like that. Also, remember, Mutter Meatseeks, every day I'm here. So I will announce if I'm sick or can't do the show, but count on me being here. So if you show up, we'll be live. Just check the channel every day. That's what I can tell you. The best I can tell you. Andy Goss, thank you very much. Do you think NPCs like moisture of the muff? LOL. I think they're afraid of the muff. They run from the muff. If they come from the muff, they will not die in the muff. Okay, that's a muff. I don't know what the NPCs believe in terms of natural bodily procreation. Maybe they're like robots. They can't, they want to hold hands and say "milady." I don't know about all that stuff. I don't know about all that stuff. Those the NPC crowd befuddles me. I'm just like, why can't you have your own thoughts and beliefs about shit and not read from a pre-recorded, approved list of responses? It's like, talking to an NPC person is like talking to customer service from a tech company. Did you try turning it off? Did you try turning it back on? Reboot. Do this. Do that. It's just an automated recorded message inside of a body. That is scary. Brain control. Ooh, do I want to read the brain control quote? No, I have a couple big things I'm working on. The comic I have to get done because I do not want to be late. But I have a couple of videos that are really, really important, and maybe I can get some help from some people on these, and we can work together. But I got a big series coming out, and it really involves everything beyond. It includes Star Wars, but it's beyond Star Wars. It's about ruining this bastardization of culture. And I'm trying to get this other big video. It has to come out on December 15th, but I'm going to get Doomcock and Jeremy. I'm going to try to get Ethan involved. I'd like to get Anna and and Ivan and Jesse and anybody that has somewhat of a following online talking about Star Wars, because that's our next big video. So folks, just hang in there while I get the comic out and do a couple things, because believe me, I got some really hard-hitting content the shit that really got our channel to the table. We have not lost our spot at all. We will claim a second spot for ourselves. Man spread out and enjoy dinner. The ones who tell people to get educated are usually the least educated of all. That's true. Very true. What's up? Hope everyone are doing well. Everything's great here, Secret Rebel. Do you think Katie Sackhoff would be a better Captain Marvel than Brie Larson? Yeah, I probably do. Anybody at this point. It sounds really kind of odd to say this, but what's wrong with older superheroes? All the best ones are older. Superman's in his 30s. Iron Man, Captain America's 100. Thor is ageless. I don't think young kiddie superheroes really sell anymore. This isn't the X-Men. This isn't the 1960s where the teenager is now a new thing, the embodiment of freedom and youth. We're beyond that. Teenagers are, people are kids until they're almost 30 at this point. So, people don't have their shit together like they did back in the day. You were 18, you got out of high school, you had a kid at 20, you retired at 60, and you died at 63 or some dumb shit like that. Life is a lot different, and I think an older superhero just works better because I'm a firm believer when you make something for that kids can consume in terms of entertainment, make them a little older because kids always want to feel older. That's why I gravitated towards Batman and not Robin. That is why I like Spider-Man and not who else is a kid superhero, the Teen Titans, stuff like that. I always wanted to be treated like I was a little bit older. So that is where I was, and that's where I think we should stand with a lot of stuff like that. All right, we're over 200 views now, Rugis, so we can officially start the stream. So, folks, welcome to Good Morning Pop Culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and today, god damn, it finally hit it at 9:32 in the morning. It honestly had to be a YouTube issue because it isn't an us issue. Like I said, we have watched YouTube get funny and do some stupid shit for many, many months. And all I can say is I'm glad that everyone's stuck with us. I'm really happy that the show has gone the direction it has gone. I'm not angry. Yeah, I want 75,000 people watching live. Ooh, one day we will have those numbers on our streams. And the funny thing is, people say, man, you talk about wanting all these people to watch. Do you think you can handle it? Goddamn right I can handle it. I can handle 1,000,001 people wanting to talk. Ask Superfan Adam Shawhan. When people come up to us at the table, believe me, I know how to talk to 10 people at once and make them all feel welcomed. And that's in person. Digitally, it would be a breeze. So we are back. Yay, Jeepers Creepers. That's a terrible movie. Justin Long. Talk about a career that never really died, but never really made it. I like Justin Long's movies. Brandon St. Randy in Zack and Miri Make a Porno is one of the best characters of 2008. Right alongside Iron Man and the Joker. Iron Man, Joker, Brandon St. Randy. Fight me on that one. As an adult, I wish things were more childlike innocent. I'm with you on that. I don't really want things to be cynical, but if we're being honest with ourselves, when you were like 8, and let's say you had a teenage brother or sister that was doing cool stuff, you wanted to know it was cool. You wanted to get in on that. With these characters that are just slightly older, you can get in on that as the viewer and feel like you're older and more, more mature, part of the group, part of the crew. That's what I'm going for. I don't need the cynicism or sometimes the reality of adult life. But as a kid, I think the reason I think a lot of people resonated with the Power Rangers is because they were teenagers with attitude and quotation marks. They were old enough to not have their parents around all the time. I think that's another key element to the success of a lot of franchises is like superheroes and stuff, is not constantly having an authority figure. The character is in control. Spider-Man's not in control of his life, which sounds good when you say, well, it's the Peter Parker dynamic and this and that. Yes, I get that. Believe me, you're preaching to the guy that knows it better than you do, probably. But the point I want to make is when you constantly have him check in at home or be under adult supervision, it takes away the fun superheroing, the excitement, the escapism. You're stuck as a kid. You've nerfed what Spider-Man's supposed to be by making him much more restrained and having his secret identity open and all this other stuff. They just really ruined the character. Let's see. Superfan Adam Shawhan, thank you very much for your super chat. I'm a proud World Class Bullshitters fan, so do it. Show them the pics. Oh, okay. I can do it now. I was going to show it on the podcast proper since it's a Patreon shirt and you're a patron of World Class Bullshitters, but I'll show it right now. You requested, I will show it. So, Superfan Adam Shawhan went out. I'm going to show you this one because you're in front of a wall of other t-shirts. And while there are other nice t-shirts, no t-shirt that is on the wall is as cool as the one that is on your body. So, folks, this is a Superfan Adam Shawhan shout out for all that he does for the channel. His 3,700 copies of Stealing Solo. But he is out there rocking his World Class Bullshitters official Patreon t-shirt. So, Adam, thank you very much for all that you do. We'll go to Cracker Barrel one day when I'm in the area, and biscuits and gravy are on me, man. Justin Long was in Dodgeball. You can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. I love Dodgeball. I really do. And that guy that's in that movie, Joel Michael Moore, or the skinny guy that was in Avatar and Grandma's Boy. I like that actor. I thought he was pretty damn funny. Oh, I gotta buy this. I gotta order this coffee. Oh God, there's a Grand Inquisitor that sent me a gift card. I'm behind, dude. I've been so sorry. Trust me, my life sounds glamorous. It's cool, but I am really, really busy right now. Third Conan. I don't know if I'd watch a third Conan. I'm kind of Conan'd out. Some heroes wear capes. This one wears a t-shirt. The best t-shirt. The back is awesome too. So, we're going to be keeping that. We are going to be altering the patronage, not in a bad way, in a good way, to give you more access to us on a personal level. And we'll do some private World Class Bullshitters Patreon game hangouts. So if you guys are PlayStation users and you want to do a Grand Theft Auto online stream together, we can. We can play, we can hang out, we can have a lot of fun, and we can make that a possibility. Darth Tico, there's plenty of shirts for everybody. Don't worry, man. It's funny. I keep thinking about changing the design, but people seem to like that design. Observer Dude, thank you very much. Have you seen the behind-the-scenes footage of The Phantom Menace of Lucas being jealous of Titanic's box office success? Yeah, I've seen that whole, like, if it's on the Blu-ray or the DVD and all that stuff, I've watched all the behind-the-scenes footage that was released on the home video stuff. If it's on there, I've seen it. I mainly remember Lucas saying, I've gone too far in a couple of places, so he's self-aware there. But I haven't seen that in particular. You know, had Lucas been a little more self-aware, I know that I'm coming at this from almost 20 years later. So let's say actually they began production in 97 on The Phantom Menace. Let's go back to 1994. Let's go back 24 years. I know I'm coming at a different place, but if I was George Lucas, I honestly would have made the phone call to Gary Kurtz. I would have said, Gary, I'm embarking on this new Star Wars trilogy. We really did something great. What can I do to mend the fence and get you back involved? Had you had Gary Kurtz involved with Star Wars Episode 1, I think Titanic would have been beaten by Star Wars Episode 1 because the hype was there, the quality wasn't. And that you got that return, that, you know, the lesser return with Episode 2. And then when you get to Episode 3, quality was there. But imagine it with Gary Kurtz. It would have been even darker, even more serious. And that sounds boring, but that doesn't mean it's boring. The stakes would have been even higher. There would have been a better way. Order 66 was actually cool when you think about it, especially in the Clone Wars when they malfunction and accidentally kill that Jedi. But I would have liked to, you know, in that alternate reality that we live in, that would have been a very cool thing. And George Lucas would have beaten Titanic 10 times over if he had a good Star Wars movie. He didn't have his finger on the pulse. Jar Jar, Whoopi, Anakin, all that stuff. Make Anakin 20 years old and already a Jedi. You don't need to see where he comes from, where he's born at. Tatooine, that's too convenient. You know, every Star Wars trilogy starts on a desert planet. It only worked one time. Look where we are now. Make it happen, Jeff. I wish I could make it happen. You see, George Lucas definitely should not have sold Star Wars to Disney. The fans could have kept it alive. The fans could have done a lot. but they just they made the mistake of all of this. That's all I can say is they made the mistake of all this. Yeah, much respect to Gary Kurtz. And again, rest in peace. We did a stream in his honor, two of them. It wasn't about grave standing. It was about acknowledging the fact that that guy is solely responsible for so many of the elements that make Star Wars great and why, and no one talks about him. He is the main reason why episode 4 and 5 are the way they are. And episode 6, you can tell. Had he been involved with Star Wars the entire time and made money like Luke, and I don't think it was a money thing. I think it was a creative differences thing. But had he been involved the entire time, the Star Wars universe would have been much more respected. There may have been more Oscars in the future. There may have been a whole new level of, I don't know, creative achievement, artistic achievement. But I will say this. Gary Kurtz and, what's his name? Lawrence Kasdan are both more open to the idea of killing off characters. And I think Lucas, in his optimism, was wise to not kill off Han, Luke, and Leia because he took those characters, George Lucas, he took them from just being basic movie characters that were popular, that do die off and go away, to becoming mythic legends, icons. Because when you watch those movies, you get involved with the characters, and then they do all ride off into the sunset. And he gave a lot of free rein to people. What's Han Solo doing next? Who's Luke facing against next? And it really captured people's imaginations, and it kept them alive in a time where there were no movies. I mean, Mark Hamill is Mark Hamill. Luke Skywalker is forever, 25 years old and remembered and emblazoned upon t-shirts and toys and books and all these other things. I don't think with a Gary Kurtz involved, you would have had the door open for the longevity of Star Wars. So maybe you would have had a better Return of the Jedi, a great Return of the Jedi, but maybe you wouldn't have had the expanded universe, and you wouldn't have had the next generation of fans. Maybe the finality of Gary Kurtz, the quality would have been so great, but the ramifications would have been, we wouldn't be the Star Wars fans we are today. So maybe it's good the way things went down. There are two sides to every argument, to every coin. You have to look at both of them and give them the fair and equal treatment. But I do think had Return of the Jedi gone down the way it did, and we still had the EU and the growth and all that, I don't think an episode 1 with Gary Kurtz would have hurt. It would have been great. I will say it could have been the greatest Star Wars movie because they'd be taking a different approach. How did things get started? Well, you got to have the two guys that started it to really get into that mindset. Can we get a Vader movie? I'd watch a Darth Vader movie, but yeah, Kathleen Kennedy does need to go. It's funny, Kenny Powers, I don't shit on Return of the Jedi out of a place of anger. I think Return of the Jedi is the third best Star Wars movie and a damn fine movie, but it lacks something when I watch it, and it's not. It is the Ewoks, but it's not just the Ewoks. Much like movies that I do enjoy, the ending just kind of happens. It just happens so quickly. I don't feel like there's a long fought battle. With the first Star Wars movie, I do feel like that. The Battle of Yavin is 15 minutes long, and it's all the final battle. It builds. With Return of the Jedi, all the good guys kind of get the same hands up at the same time, and then it just kind of ends. I'm not saying it needed to be longer or drawn out, but I do feel like stuff happens, and then it just kind of ends. There's no decline. Like with the first Star Wars, the Death Star blows up, and then there's a medal ceremony, and that would make sense. Empire, you have all that big shit, and then you have time for it to simmer down, and then it ends, and it gets you set up for the next movie. Return of the Jedi, I think, needed a little more simmering, more than just Luke burning Darth Vader and Han and Leia talking on the log. I think you needed a few more moments, maybe just to talk about the Empire being destroyed or something, a reflection, and then a celebration. But it's still a good movie. If the first two Star Wars movies are 10 out of 10 for me, Return of the Jedi is a 7.5 or an 8. Well acted. The effects are great. The puppetry is amazing. Jabba the Hutt looks great. Princess Leia kills the one guy that Han Solo fears. So let's put that in perspective, third wave ladies. Let's just put that in perspective. I don't think a happy tone is the problem, Cadmium. I believe the first Star Wars movie has a very happy tone, a very fun, by the edge of your seat fun tone that's like, oh my God, we're on a high adventure. And then, literally it's a happy ending. They get a medal and they end it. but they don't. And Empire is dark, but Empire also has a hopeful ending too. Maybe Vader is defeated, or Luke is defeated by Vader, but he's not killed. And Han Solo is not dead; he's just frozen in carbonite. He'll be fine. They assure you of these things. And Jedi does have a happier tone. It also has a darker tone and darker moments too, especially when Luke's getting electrocuted and the Ewoks blow up. But I just think the Ewoks were the wrong tone. Talk about subverting expectation. Ugh. Observer Dude, thank you very much. Gary Kurtz wanted episode 1 to be a Knights of the Old Republic movie about how the Jedi became guardians of peace and justice. Okay, I did not know that. Oh, that... In 1999, I don't know if that would have been a good idea. I think now we long for that because of what we have, especially with episodes 7 through 9. But I do like the concept of seeing how Vader became Vader, but I think it could have been done a lot better because I do enjoy... The thing is, from episodes 1 through the Clone Wars, they've made Obi-Wan Kenobi become a much more intense character. Look, I grew up when basically I look at myself as a last remnant of the original Star Wars generation. There were 3 movies. I watched them on tape. I played with toys. That's kind of all I had to do. I made my own adventures. I looked at Obi-Wan as the old mentor to Luke. He served a purpose, but I was all about Luke Skywalker and then Han Solo. It was cool to see the old wise mentor become, the young badass. And I don't think Obi-Wan disappointed. Episode 2 is a lesser movie in every regards, but it was nice to see more of Obi-Wan in his element, why he was this great Jedi, and how he defeated Darth Vader. I thought he was the most successful character from the actual prequel films. And then you roll around to the Clone Wars and you add depth with him and the whole relationship between him and the Duchess Satine. Maybe Obi-Wan knows about the touch of a lady. That kind of stuff is just little bitty things that are like, oh, he's so strict in the Force. But is he? He has a past too with women and this and that and the other thing. And there's a lot that goes on. And I like that because then when I watch episode 4, I think to myself, oh, Obi-Wan is this old hermit, but he lived this crazy intergalactic life. He was the greatest Jedi in the galaxy type of thing. And he did that. And now his life has been, shrunken down to just an old hermit. People think he's a crazy wizard. He was once, dining with the finest in the galaxy and all this stuff, as a weird Dusty Rhodes relevant equivalency. But he became this old hermit. I do like those elements. It's I would watch a Knights of the Old Republic film nowadays. I think that would be smart. I bet you that's what Benioff and Weiss are working on because Game of Thrones is popular. I bet you that is what we'll get with a Knights of the Old Republic thing post episode 9, and that will be Disney's last-ditch effort to really keep Star Wars trilogies going. They'll get their theatrical release and it'll be different, but will it be too late? I think it's all dependent upon episode 9. This coming year, 2019, is going to be huge for us, the Fandom Menace, World Class Bullshitters, all the channels, because it's the build to the end of garbage, and everything is going to be documented on how it is handled. This is the most important year for Star Wars ever. People would argue 2015, no, you had the goodwill you were buying in. 2017 was the most important year. No. You had that goodwill still. It was diminishing, but you still had it. Star Wars had never shit the bed like it has, and now we're here. That's why it can get thousands of people to talk about its demise weekly, because it was that impactful. So, Observer Dude, I like Gary Kurtz's concept. I just, I really do appreciate some of the elements and themes and visuals from episodes 1 through 3. Bizarre, I'm saying that as an adult, but you don't realize shit wasn't so bad as it used to be, or as it is now. Mr. V, thank you very much. I got Friday the 13th last week. Would be great if we can get some people together to play. Judging from your GTA stream, you'll get a kick out of it. Well, Mr. V, you know how to shoot me an email, worldclassbs@mail.com. We can play. I got it saved to my thing. I'll download it, and we can play it. We can do a World Class Bullshitters game stream. I feel like a lot of people would get invested in that. So why not build the community that way too? Why not? I'm all about that. And yes, if you watch my GTA stream, I take great pleasure in hacking people up. The thing is, it is cathartic for me, a nice emotional release. I would never do anything like that in real life because honestly, I don't want to hurt anybody. And secondly, I like my freedom. Seriously, I would never do anything to jeopardize having the freedom to get up, record this show, interact with you guys, make my videos, and save for something big in the future. But I'll do it in Grand Theft Auto because it's completely legal, and you can't go to jail for killing people in Grand Theft Auto. They'll kill you in the game, but I turn on director mode and I just blow shit up. Don't suffer the consequences. Grand Moff Tarkin Jeff Argent had Star Wars when it was at its best. I miss it when it was at its best. Swinging Cod, thank you very much. Is the email worldclassbs@mail.com or at thebestmail.com? I always forget. Oh, I apologize. Thebestmail.com is just a joke. So our official email is worldclassbs@mail.com. And the reason we say thebestmail.com is because it's the only mail.com. So this was a ridiculous joke that is stuck. I think that was our first running joke on the channel. And 3 years and change later, it still makes me laugh. So that's why we keep saying it. That's all I can say. So where are we at? Okay, so we're all caught up on the super chats. Oh, I had a tomahawk, but I did not use it. I died and lost it. I'm still trying to get up with the putting shit on your horse type of dynamic. My favorite weapon is the bow, because I'll just sneak up on shit and hunt and take it back and eat and all that crap. I really do like that game a lot. Saints Row is better than Grand Theft Auto. If you were to talk to me in 2008, Random Nerd, I would agree with you, because I think GTA 4 was shit and Saints Row 2 was amazing. I got it right here on my PS3. Great soundtrack. It has Everybody Wants to Rule the World. The 80s station in that game was just second to none. It would play Take on Me, Everybody Wants to Rule the World, Land Down Under, all in a row. What else could I ask for? Maybe Rock the Casbah. But it was such a great 80s set list, and I had so much fun with that. Hello to the Nerd Rot channel. Amy Minty, I think we're finally past 200 viewers. What a bizarre morning. It's weird. YouTube tried to keep us down because we had, honestly, this week, Monday, Tuesday, super powerful shows. Today was gearing up for that. I was really feeling it. Then we had our issue, but I didn't let it bring us down. And I think we hit some truth bombs as need be. Today's show was strong as always and really successful. I'd like to thank everybody who's helped it become successful. You guys are really kicking ass here on the channel. And while YouTube messes with us, I think the community has strengthened and doubled down to help us stay here. And I appreciate that. I mean, believe me, when you meet me, everyone's got a handshake coming, maybe a hug, depending on how many beers I've had. Point is, thank you. I really, really, really mean it, because without you guys, there is no show. It's just a dude talking to a microphone in an office. And thankfully, it's more than that now. Let's see. Did Saints Row 2 have Judas Priest songs? Did it have You Got Another Thing Coming? I don't know. Maybe. Okay, so the Jacobite says mine is saying 325 plus viewers. I'm seeing 321. So it's definitely different for everyone watching. But that's really the audience. I like about 400 people. That's what I shoot for every day. Anakin's Force Ghost is going to turn into Darth Vader because Rey has no training. If the ghost of Darth Vader, or here's the thing, if I hear a fucking forced Darth Vader breath in the next movie, I'm going to punch somebody. It's probably Kendo because he's my friend and he won't press charges, but I'm going to hit somebody named Kendo because that is the dumbest fucking thing that could possibly happen. No more Darth Vader. He redeemed himself. He repented. He died a hero. That's why he becomes the spirit of Anakin Skywalker. He is no longer a dark side user. Anakin Skywalker is not going to all of a sudden switch because Kylo Ren needs character development. What happened to the whole grandfather? I will finish what you started thing. You know what? They fucking ruined it. All I can say. Are you excited to have Doomcock on tomorrow night? Who's all on the show? Well, every World Class Bullshitters is the guys that are in the icon. So that is, first it's me in the blue, then it's Dion, then it's Nick, then it's Kendo. So it's the four of us as always. Of course I'm excited to have Doomcock. The best part is he reached out to me. You know, I ask people on the channel. Sometimes I get responses, sometimes I don't. But Doomcock reaches out to us, and Doomcock is the best guest. Just, he is amazing. That dude always delivers. He's so entertaining. I mean, how can you not like Doomcock? He gets it, and I'm excited to have him. And tomorrow's going to be a phenomenal World Class Bullshitter show. You cannot miss it. It starts at 9. It's a little later than usual. Usually we start at 8:30, but we're starting at 9 for Doomcock's schedule. But when we start, and we will, it's going to be incredible. Mariner 1712, thank you very much. Gary Kurtz is to Star Wars what Gene L. Kuhn was to the original Star Trek. That is a good analogy because I don't even know who Gene L. Kuhn is. I know who Gene Roddenberry is. Let me look up Gene L. Kuhn real quick because I might be missing somebody incredible. So let's see. So Gene L. Kuhn was an American screenwriter, best known for his work on the series of Star Trek. Okay, he died in 1973. Huh. I'll have to do some research about him. Mariner, if you wouldn't mind, would you remind me tomorrow night with Doomcock? Because Doomcock is the star of the Fandom Menace. He's the Star Trek expert. He's the biggest fan. I like the original. Dion likes the shit, but he likes it as a show. Doomcock likes it on a deeper level. And I'm sure that he knows more about it than I do. But I'll do some research into this because I'm always about the unsung heroes of the of your favorite properties and brands. That's why I'm really adamant about saying Stan Lee is only the co-creator of a lot of our favorite stuff. He gets the title Godfather of Comics, fine, deservedly so. But don't forget about Jack Kirby. Don't forget about Steve Ditko, John Romita, John Buscema. Don't forget about those. I'd actually take Buscema out. He's the best comic book artist that ever lived, but he didn't really do a lot of the creation aspect. Romita was like that last guy that really brought some creative stuff. Wally Wood. Don't forget those guys. Do yourselves a favor. Check out Wally Wood. He's an artist that really inspires me. I love his atmospheric stuff. And what's nice is the more that I learn, I get to learn from them. It's just a fun process. Like going to college was fine, but you do learn from some boring people. With comics, you get to learn from the masters and you get to read a comic book. It's a win-win. What I hate is for stupid non-fans talk about Sith ghosts. There are only Force ghosts, some good and evil as ever, but the word Sith ghost gives me itchy knuckles. Comrade Bernfried Putin Axel Wielder. You know how I feel when people talk about James Bond as a code name. Because if anybody in here thinks that, I'm not attacking you for not knowing something. But if you watch the movies, it is clear as day not the case. It's never been a code name. It will never be a code name. They've actually gone out of their way to show his parents' names were Bond to end this code name theory talk. But for some reason, the internet is ignorant to the fact. It's like they want to be involved with this joke, this inside rumor, this inside secret theory, but watch the movie and it falls apart on your fucking face just like that. Let's see. Voorhees67 says, who's the unsung hero of Indiana Jones? Jim Steranko, because he designed him. I believe it was Jim Steranko. I don't think they're really, in the case of Indiana Jones, all the people involved kind of get their credit. It's a Spielberg-Lucas thing. We know Lawrence Kasdan wrote it, and he named Marion Ravenwood after the grandmother of his wife and the street he grew up on, or the street she grew up on, or something. I don't know. I think the people that bring Indiana Jones... The thing is, Indiana Jones, I love it, but it's not as mythic as Star Wars or Star Trek. Those things have their... Like, an Indiana Jones convention would not work. Going to a con dressed up as Indiana Jones or meeting Harrison Ford at an Indiana Jones meet and greet would be awesome. But Indiana Jones does not... That is more just a movie. Star Wars and Star Trek are bigger things. Even though there are indie novels and toys and all this shit, those two properties are mythic. And Indiana Jones... I think everyone that brings, all these elements to the table get respect. John Williams, George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Harrison Ford, Lawrence Kasdan, Frank Marshall, I guess. I don't know. What's his name? The guy that worked, Robert Watts, the production designer. Those people all do get their just due. And Lucas and company kind of kept these same people between Star Wars and Indiana Jones, all the Star Wars movies. You get the same people working on these movies years and years later. So Stuart Freeborn is an unsung hero for the creation of Yoda. You may have seen little pictures, but it's Stuart Freeborn that did the final design. Joe Johnston is another person that doesn't get the same respect he deserves in terms of Star Wars creation. He kind of refined the Macquarie designs, but he, in Boba Fett and stuff like that. If it wasn't for him, the shit wouldn't look the way it does. Who is the best comic book artist ever? I honestly, I won't say Jack Kirby. I respect the dude. He's probably the most prolific, but I'll say Buscema is the best, hands down. The raw power of John Buscema's work, as well as, Conan the Barbarian, Avengers. He did some Spider-Man work. My personal favorite is John Romita Sr. there's so many great ones. The weird part is so many great people work together at one time. I love Jim Lee's artwork. I've come to love Todd McFarlane's artwork the older I get. But when it comes to like just who do I pull out as the best of the best, it's going to be a discussion between somebody like a Neil Adams or a John Buscema, just somebody with raw power behind their pencil. Ethan's great. I'm not knocking Ethan ever in a million years. He's fantastic. He made it to the top with his talent. There is no doubt about that. But in my opinion, the greatest of all time is probably John Buscema. Look him up. It's a different style and it's simpler. So if you're going to look for like the new colors or Alex Ross and stuff like that, you're not going to get that. But what you're going to get is you're going to get great storytelling, great anatomy, beautiful women. Just, you know what? Hold on. Let me show something real quick instead of talking about it constantly. Superfan Adam Shawhan, I owe you a high five. Don't worry, you'll get it. So let me just type in John Buscema. This will be the best thing we look up. Go end the show. I could spell John Buscema, which I normally can, but I'm live and I have typos. So John Buscema, old school artist. He wrote the book How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way. So let me pull up some of his artwork. Open image, a new tab. Now remember, this stuff is old. So you're going to look at this and go, oh, this is definitely some dated stuff. But he was working in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, up till 2000. I mean, he worked until he died, but he was the fucking man. Not everybody that was the best worked at Marvel or DC. I also really liked Alex Toth. He worked at DC. He worked on Super Friends. Very simplistic, but that's in my wheelhouse. That's the kind of stuff I liked. Let's type in John Buscema Marvel, and we'll John Byrne's up there too. The three best, or my three favorite are John Romita, John Buscema, John Byrne. And then Jim Lee fits in there later. But those guys are just, and the thing is, there are so many great artists that have worked for these companies. Who else was great at DC? Carmine Infantino was kind of good. Well, he was good. His Star Wars work was not good. Kind of weird, kind of dated. But these guys are just incredible artists, and they were all working at the same time. You had these people like Gene Colan and all these other people. They had to work to become like super relevant, but it happened. Damn, I don't want to open it on Pinterest. Crap. Fine, I'll show you something. This is not a great quality picture, but this is a cool picture. Here we go. Give me a second. I like a certain style. I like the Marvel House style. I enjoy a certain look. I like older comics. That's what I shoot for. You can definitely see that when you look at Stealing Solo. I aspire to draw like the old school guys, not because it's easy. I think there's a lot more behind it. I just enjoy that aesthetic. Overly cross-hatching and stuff. I'm more about big shapes, bright colors type of thing. And John Buscema he just works on every level. So that's a basic splash page in crappy quality. Come on. Oh, well. I think I've shown enough, I guess. So, folks, it is 10:04. I got to be somewhere. So I'm excited to go out and do what I got to do. But I just want to tell everybody, thank you for joining us on a double stream of Good Morning Pop Culture. Yeah, it was messed up. It was kind of broken at times. But that doesn't mean it was a bad show. It was a YouTube issue. And I want to tell everyone, thank you. Here's a good image to end it on. John Buscema also worked on Thor, and it was some great artwork. So thank you to everybody who stuck with us. I know it was confusing. Again, it was a YouTube problem. It was them, not us. But there's my boy John Buscema, classic, powerful. I just love how he draws the muscles and the women are hot and all that stuff. Those are the things I focus on. They used to say you were graded on how well you could draw a horse and how well you could draw women. Well, I can't draw a horse to save my life. So thankfully I have photo references for that. But I can draw women. You can check out the Instagram, the unfinished sketches. But this is my style that I love. If somebody said you could draw just like a comic book artist and it would look exactly like the work, I think I'd pick his. And then I would think, or do I want to draw like Romita and be able to ink like Jim Mooney? I don't know. That's a tough question. Those are names you guys don't know or care about. So, folks, could you do me a favor and hit that muff button? And go do me a favor too. I found a secret to help our YouTube channel. Before you click off of YouTube, would you mind going to check out anything on our channel for just a moment? Because that will help us grow. So go check out yesterday's video about Rian Johnson, or go check out anything. We've been putting out tons and tons of videos, and they're just not really hitting the traction. So do your old friend Jeff a favor. Check out our video titled, what is it titled? What should I tell you guys to check out? It is our video titled, what came out on Monday? Everything about the Boba Fett flick. Could you do us a favor and check that one out? It's okay. It's not really a successful video, but going from here to that would really, really help out the channel. I'd really appreciate it. So, folks, I'll be back tomorrow. Do I want to come back tonight? I don't know. Press 1 if you want me to come back tonight. That's all I can say. Yeah, DJ D Show, you know what's up. Hit the muff button, check out a YouTube video. Those are all important things to really help the channel. So, yeah, thank you, Darth Hammer. Yeah, I do. Okay, 1. So I guess people, maybe, depending on how much work I can get done today on this comic, maybe I'll do some Red Dead Redemption tonight. Now, that won't stay on the channel. It'll just be live, but it'll be a lot of fun, and you guys can hang out with me, and we can bullshit together in perpetuity. So until next time, folks, thank you as always, and catch me next time live.